Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the Coaching Corner with me, Jamila, aka the IEP Coach. For those of you who are new coming to the Coaching Corner, I am the founder and CEO of the IEP Coach LLC. We are an education company, and we specialize in supporting charter special education leaders with their special education teams so they can stay out of litigation. That is what we do here at the IEP Coach, and we go live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and we talk about all things special education. Oh, I just love it. I just love it. I just love it. And we always make sure we have time for Q&A. We always make sure we have time for Q&A. So if you got questions, hold on to your questions. All right. And before we go any further, tonight's topic is the number one indicator a charter school is headed for litigation. Okay. You don't want to miss this. So share out this live with anyone, with a leader that you know who is working in a charter school. You have people you know in your network who are work in charter schools. Share out this live with them. All right. And as I'm telling you to share it out, I am sharing it out as well. All right. And as you come in, drop in the comments. Let me know where you are tuning in from. And we are streaming live on our LinkedIn, our Facebook, our YouTube, and our Instagram. And we are going live on our TikTok page. Okay. So go ahead and drop in the comments where you are from, where you're tuning in from, as you share out this live. Excuse me. I have this dry cough. I'm sorry about that, guys. All right. So let me share this out. The number one indicator a charter school is headed for litigation. Share out the live. All righty. Here we go. Here we go. Share out this. There we go. Let's share out this live. Here we go. All right. Is it done? All right, there we go. All right, so let me check to see who is in the building. Who is in here? Okay, we got some Philly people in here. All right, all right, all right. Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, and before we go any further, how many of you go to IEP meetings and you're just like, listen, I don't know what type of meeting that was, or you're a SPED teacher, you're on a SPED team, and you're like, listen, I need help with my IEP meetings. All right, we got Jersey in the house. Okay, Jersey. All right, so you know you have the IEP meetings and it's just like, listen, it's not going how it's supposed to. It shouldn't be stressful like this. Well, we have the answer to your problems. Listen, especially you're a charter school leader, SPED leader, you're on a special education team, you are a principal or AP. Listen, we have our the 3 biggest IEP meeting mistakes and how to fix them. We are doing our free webinar on this exact topic February 26th, Thursday, February 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link to register is in the show notes, but I am also going to just drop it in the comments here for you. If you know someone who is a part of a SPED team, share this link out with them. It is absolutely free, okay? It's absolutely free, all right? Okay, let me just make sure everything's good. All right, let's get into it. All right. So thank you all for tuning in. So again, the topic is the number one indicator a charter school is headed for litigation. So before we start, I want to say that this is not a blame game. Oh my God, these charter schools are horrible. No, it's to bring awareness. It's not to set an alarm off, but it's just to bring awareness to this issue because it is a huge issue. Okay, litigation, it don't just start once you get to court. Okay, it starts when you don't have proper systems in place to hold up your SPED team at your school. Okay, that's where it starts. When you don't have solid systems for your special education department, special education team, that's where it starts. Okay, it don't start once you get to the courtroom, once the lawyers come and all that. No, it starts way before that, because you have to think when you get to court, how do we get here? Why are we here? Okay, it starts because you don't have proper systems in place. All right. Now, What do you think, before I even tell you what is the number one indicator charter schools headed for litigation, in the comments, tell me what you think. What's the number one indicator that lets you know, oh my God, this charter school about to get sued? What is it? Put it in the comments. What do you think? What do you think? Let me see. What do you think? Drop it in the comments. How do you know a charter school is headed for litigation? Anybody, don't be scared, because y'all be talking. You just be talking and yapping and all that stuff. You guys be sending your questions to our DMs and everything. Don't be shy now. You scared to talk, okay? Well, it's not just from one angry parent. It's not just one angry parent. It's not just one missed deadline. And it's not just one staff mistake. Now, a mistake can land you in a lawsuit, but it's not just that. Okay? You ready to find out what's the number one indicator? You ready? Put a drum roll in the comments for me. Put a drum roll in the comments for me. I'm about to tell you. You're going to be like, what? Put a drum roll in the comments for me. Put a drum roll emoji in the comments for me. All right. Okay, I see him. I see him over here in TikTok. All right. All right. The number one indicator. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I see it. You ready? I see it. You tell us. The number one indicator that a charter school is headed to litigation, there is a gap between there's a gap between what is written in the IEP and what's actually being done. That is the number one indicator. What's in the IEP is not actually being done in practice. In reality, it's not happening. They may have a compliant IEP, but that IEP is not being implemented. That's it. That's the number one indicator. And I know you may be looking like, well, if you write the IEP, you should be implementing that IEP. Yes, you should. IEPs are a legal document. Whatever you put in that IEP, you should be implementing it in your school. But this does not happen a lot in charter schools. And this is why a lot of them end up in litigation. So let me break down why. Okay. Again, you can have a compliant IEP, but that means it's written well, the goals are correct, you got your services in there, you have everything you need in that IEP, but if it's not being implemented, you are not in compliance, right? Now, compliant paperwork is not equal to compliant implementation. Just because you have that perfectly written IEP, it doesn't mean you're implementing it in the school, okay? It doesn't mean that the student is being serviced properly in the school and serviced consistently like the IEP says. So if the IEP says, oh, they're supposed to get speech 2 times a week for 30 minutes, and they haven't had speech in months, you're out of compliance. And on top of that, you have to give that student compensatory services. You have to pay back for the services they did not receive. All right? You have staffing shortages that make implementation impossible. You don't even have the staff to support the special ed population in your school. You're not in compliance. That can lead you to a lawsuit. And you have a lack of training for your special education team and your charter school. Your special education team and your general education team, because they need to know how to progress monitor. They need to know how to read an IEP as well. They need to know how to implement best practice co-teaching models to support the students. Okay? If that is in the IEP and it's not being, this is why they end up in litigation a lot. Okay? A lot. Now, if your IEPs look great on paper, but your school, your team realistically cannot implement it, you're already at risk. You can't carry out that IEP, you are at risk. Your school is at a high risk of being in litigation, getting sued. And all a parent or someone has to do is, wait, you got speech? When was the last time they could ask the kids, when was the last time you had speech? was the last time you had OT? Are you getting, is Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so coming into your classroom to support you? Are you getting pulled out for your small group? Are you getting your testing accommodation? You can find that out. You can find that out real quick and easily have your notes to know, like, oh, on this day my kids said they didn't get pulled. On this day they didn't get this particular service. So you are already at risk. Now, this is why it hits charter schools harder, because charter schools tend to have a smaller team, so there's a higher dependency on individuals. And if one person leaves that SPED team, and this one person was the one who for the most part was more experienced in special education, when they leave, all of that information leaves with them, because the school did not have efficient, effective system set up for their SPED team. So literally everything went out with that staff member when they left. So you have limited staffing flexibility. And then also, hey, charter schools could be pressured to enroll students, so they hit a certain number of students in their for their enrollment, but you're enrolling students that you cannot service. That puts you at a high risk for litigation. And then you don't have systems built around your processes. They're built around people. Your system should be built around a process, not a person. So if that person who knows all the SPED stuff leaves, no, your school should still be able to run SPED properly, because you have systems set up around your process. Now, charter schools, they aren't careless, they're just more exposed. They're more exposed. And here are some common signs that leaders will miss. And these are some indicators that, listen, hey, things aren't going right. We're not going in the right direction. When you are constantly changing related service schedules. Oh my gosh. Now you may be thinking, it's not that serious. The school schedule changes, so we have to change, the schedule. When you're constantly doing that, you are interrupting the service of your students who receive those who receive those related services. So, for example, your speech, your OT, you could have a hearing therapist come out. You could have a physical therapist come out. Constantly changing their schedule, you're interrupting the service time they have created for those students. My previous principal, I loved him to death. I loved my previous principal. If we had a schedule change, when I tell you, it would make my blood boil. It would make my blood boil. And the reason it did, because I would take the time to make sure students weren't being pulled out of their classes and missing instruction, trying to, making sure, they're not getting pulled out of prep too much, or pulled from this class too much, and making sure, like, hey, it's going from one grade to this, like making it smooth for the provider. And when that schedule changes, and then also, let me back up. And then also I made sure it was aligned with the other services, like a student could have counseling. I used to make sure it didn't interfere with the counseling schedule as well. When that schedule changed, when I tell you, I don't cuss, okay? I don't. I like to use other words to express myself. Man, I could fire off some things and say some things. I was just pissed off because it interrupts the service of the students. It does. It really does. If you have temporary service delivery, you're going to have gaps in the service for the students. That's another risk for the school. That's another problem. You have burned out SPED teachers because their caseloads are so big, because they're going to get to the point you get burned out, they're going to quit. They're going to quit, and then you have nobody at the school to service your SPED population. If you're always scrambling last minute for an IP meeting, You should not be this is why we have our webinar coming up, the 3 biggest mistakes for IEP meetings and how to fix them. You shouldn't be scrambling before IEP meeting, trying to get this teacher and pull that teacher and do that. No, that's not how an IEP meeting should go. No. And then this is my favorite. We'll fix it later. No. Later may be you're already in court. Your charter school is already in court. There is no, oh, we'll fix it later. No, you have to set it up right. I just said your system should be set up around your processes. Do it right the first time so you don't run into these problems. One of the biggest issues is you're putting band-aids on your problem instead of addressing it. And this is another reason why you end up in litigation. All right? Burnout isn't a people problem. That's a warning sign for you, for leaders. It's a warning sign for you, especially SPED leaders and leaders in charter schools. It's a warning sign. Your SPED teachers are getting burnt out. That is a warning sign for you. What you need to do to get your school in order, SPED leaders, SPED charter leaders, and admin in charter schools. You got to get clear. What realistically can you implement in your school? What are the non-negotiables? Be realistic. What can you implement in your school? You got to have the clarity on that. You have to have organization. So again, your system should be set up around your processes, not people. Everybody needs to know how this system runs. Everybody needs to know how we're doing the progress monitoring. Everyone on the SPED team needs to know how we're going to be writing IEPs, how we're doing case management. Everybody needs to know that. Everybody needs to know the system and protocol. There needs to be shared accountability, not just all on one person. So clarity, your organization, you have to have review. Regularly do check-ins with your systems and do check-ins with your team members. Don't just do those PDs in the beginning of the year and then you never do them again. You never do a refresher at all. And have your consistent data. Data don't lie. Data don't lie. And then lastly, your execution. Train your special education team members. Train them. Have consistent trainings for them. Have refreshers for them. When you do that, your systems will survive any turnover. You got to have clarity, organization, review, and execution. Okay? Now, if you are a charter school leader and you're listening to this live, somebody shared this live with you, and you're realizing like, hey, I got some gaps in my school, the next step for you is to have a conversation with us at the IEP coach. Okay? That's the next step. Have a conversation with us. All right? And if this is you, I'm going to drop it in the comments now. Book a call with us so you can learn how the IEP coach can support you and your school to close these gaps. Instagram is getting pinned. Okay? This isn't rocket science. This can be fixed. This can be fixed. All right? Now, do we have any questions? Any questions? Listen, this is fixable, like I said. Your systems can be built, and this is fixable. Okay? Who has questions? Anybody got questions? Or if you have a special education question, go ahead and ask your questions. I know it takes you a minute to type. While we are waiting for questions, just a reminder, we have our free webinar, The 3 Biggest IP Meeting Mistakes and How to Fix Them. It is taking place Thursday, February the 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is absolutely free. I'm going to drop it in the comments again. I am dropping it in the comments again. Do we have any questions? Let me see. No questions? All right. All right, let me check TikTok. Do we have any questions, TikTok? Any questions? Let me check IG. All right, I don't see any questions. All right, if the question comes to you later, feel free to share it with us on our social media. We are very responsive on our social media. So you can send us a DM, you can send us an email at info@theipcoachllc.com. You can send your questions there if the question's not coming to you right now. And please remember, we have our webinar Thursday, February 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The 3 biggest IP meeting mistakes and how to fix them. I dropped the link again. And lastly, not if. Do I want to say if? No, I don't want to say if. Make sure you are a subscriber to our newsletter. Our editions drop every Wednesday, so I'm going to share that. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, the IP Insider. I just shared the link. Is it going? It's spinning. Okay, there you go. All right. And let me see. Okay, we got any questions? All right, no questions. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you all next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to be kind to yourself. Do not push past your capacity, because when you do that, it leads to burnout. See you next week.